that, ladies and gentlemen, is my version of canned laughter. But this is a news program, so why on earth would I be canning my laughter? Clap, clap. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Metaworld News, and this is our news headlines for the week ending the 6th of January. Yes, New Year there. 2019.
Bravo.
Yes. I got it right, didn't I?
You
That
did.
is the first week of the year, and I got it right. I did practice twice before I came on air, of course, but that would have meant nothing. I could easily have forgotten. Okay, we are in a new year, and of course, a new year being a new year, it's rather quiet. We have only had a couple of sort of, well, in the Western world anyway, there's only been a couple of um, working weekdays in the week, given the New Year celebrations and stuff. So it has been a bit quiet. Coming up next week, of course, in America is the Consumer Electronics Show, CES. And I did actually notice a few bursts in the feeds today of basically people that don't normally post on Sundays, posting on Sundays, presumably to get a one-upmanship
Mm.
on CES, which probably starts tomorrow. Can't remember or not. Okay. Now, you can follow me on Twitter. You can go to twitter.com/malburns, Malburns, or one word, where Twitter is concerned at least. And we have a second feed, which is twitter.com/metaworld news. Again, all one word, and just like this show. Um, I actually just retweeted a post from Leah Lobo on, I think I retweeted it to Metaworld News anyway. She's been advertising the presenter proposal for this year's Virtual World's Best Practices in Education conference, which you can find at vwp.org. And if you follow the news feed, you'll see the full link. And I might as well. I was racking my brains earlier to figure out which day that was this year. And actually, the conference is being held on the 4th to the 6th of April. So there's no actual danger of it colliding with our um, uh, Open Simfest, which is on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of March.
Mm.
So anyway, just getting the plug in there because that's it's in a feed that's not the normal one, should we say? Right. So I'm going to look at my own feed of Malbones to pick out a few headlines there for what has happened in the recent time. James has also got a camera fixed on my desktop reader called Flipboard. And we currently have a picture there he may care to show of somebody wearing an Oculus. In fact, they are wearing the Oculus Go, which is the same as the one I've got. It's an untethered beast, which means you don't have to plug it into the computer. It's only got one sort of hand controller, as the lady is wearing, and stuff like that. But it's a departure, and of course, later in the year, well, not too much later in the year, there's going to be an Oculus Quest, which is going to be a bit like the high-end Oculus, but untethered as well. Do be warned, of course, that both these products and most of the content is owned by a company called Facebook, and that you maybe should behave accordingly before purchasing these items. Right. There's a post all about this to be found at Hypergrid Business. Yes, good on Maria's side. Hypergrid Business, or one word.com. And that post is actually from the 26th of December, so it may have been included last week. Certainly, the other article there, Feel Real, has been. So let me move the page a little bit forward. Um, Future Video Beyond that's an old one. We had that last week. Verizon, they, I believe, are an American telecom company or something. VRScout.com report that they're using VR to prepare employees for hostage and robbery situations. So whatever it is Verizon sell, it's probably something people like stealing. Uh, or if they're going to all that trouble. Right. What do I say? How can they be a telephone provider if they, well, they must sell some kind of physical
Yeah,
good too.
they're mobile and a variety of network uh, ISP providers.
Oh, so they've probably got lots of expensive phones and
Hmm.
stuff that might be burglarized. Okay,
Yep.
fair enough. Well, I suppose VR is as good a way to prepare people for hostage taking. But I would think that money is better spent using VR to train employees how to be better service people, but never mind. Right, Crow the Legend. What's that about? Yeah, the year in review. This is at vrscout.com. About a week ago, we may have posted it already. VR and AR 2018, a year in review. And it's, well, it's just that. What can you say about a year in review other than reading out the whole thing and then arguing with it? Right. Therapists using VR to treat mental health issues. This was about a week ago. Alice Bonacio talking again at vrscout.com. And by sheer coincidence, well, the previous tweets before that is at uploadvr.com, and this is how a company called Starlight is using VR to alleviate pain in children's hospitals. And yep, a kid in a headset goes with that one. You can't really see much of it, so I wouldn't put it on screen. Um, it's not to go. It's another kind of headset. Right. Now, a proven interface for multi-platform VR development in Unity. I believe, oh no, 5 days ago, so we probably didn't cover this. VR developer Turbo Button has released an interface for multi-platform VR development in Unity, in the Unity program. Turbo Button is the developer behind Floor Plan, Along Together, and the official Adventure Time VR game. The studios used this custom interface for their two most recent titles, Floor Plan and Along Together. Yes, well, go figure. Right, read all about it at uploadvr.com. And oh, yes, what I didn't. Well, I didn't mention to you, I thought this is rather funny. When I read it out, it said VR developer Turbo Button has released an interface, etc. Well, the actual headline is an abbreviated version of that. They're called T-Bus.
Seems a little unfortunate, right?
It does, T-Bus. I think Turbo Button is good enough. You really don't need to make it into T-Bus. Thank you. But anyway, T-Bus, as, under an alternative title, is a proven interface for etc., etc., etc. Moving on. Upload VR again. Researchers are using VR to better understand tumors. There's something of a theme to some of these posts today. Alleviating pain and understanding tumors, etc., etc. Got a nice, a bit of a bigger picture on that one, but it doesn't really tell us much at all, really. So this is the University of Cambridge here in the UK. They've developed a virtual reality app which visualizes cancerous tumors. And well, I presume this is for doctors or sons. I don't know whether it's an app that I should download and strap to my stomach or whatever you've meant to do with it. It sounds rather useful, actually. I wouldn't mind an app that scanned my stomach for better or worse, or lungs or whatever. Anyway, useful stuff in medical diagnosis there. And once again, I flipped the wrong way. Right, 2018 in review. This the week when you, the week or the month when you get lots of these things, actually. This one comes from uploadvr.com, and it's the year standalones talk VR and AR everywhere. They are, of course, referring to the Oculus Go and the announced Oculus thing that I've forgotten already. And
Quest.
and
The Quest.
yeah, the Quest, that's it. Thank you, James. And also, of course, Magic Leap, which is also another untethered thing, although it comes with a seriously big price tag. Although I'll come to something in a minute, which is actually rather interesting on that front. Right. Okay. It's a year in review, basically, looking at the standalones, and you know they're the big event of the year, really. It's the first year we've had any standalone headsets, really, so it couldn't help but be the main thing of the year. I don't know. Maybe we'll have invisible ones by next year, and that will be the year thing. We will see. Right. Meet me on 2020 and I'll tell you. Right. Thoughts on VR and AR part one. Bit of a stock photograph on that one. Nice enough though. This actually is a post by Inara Pei, whose blog Modem World ME. So Modem World, or one word .me, and it's not Modern World, it's Modem World, MODEMWORLD, as in the noisy things that used to connect to your telephone to get you on the web and made. Oh, don't you just love those memories?
Sure. Yep.
Year review 19 90. Right. Okay. So, yeah, that's quite a good one. Again, it's her thoughts on AR and VR. So it's she normally writes about Second Life, but she does periodically write about other things, and she has done. And a nice spacey picture next to that, totally meaningless, really, I suspect. It's just a picture of outer space. Whether that actually is a dead star or not, I haven't a clue. It looks more like a painting to me. Um, the cheaters, you can tell the way they've airbrushed the stars. But never mind, never mind. VR experience lets you step inside a dead star. Yes, you can explore a massive supernova remnant of 400-year-old star, and it's never been easy. 400 years in galactic terms doesn't sound very long, actually.
No, no.
But never mind. That's what it says. Anyway, Harbaugh's Smithsonian Centre for Astrophysics have made a thingy here, and apparently, I think the idea is you stand at the side of a dead star. Is it a bit like a black hole or something, and everything's being sucked in the hole in front of you, and for some miraculous reason you don't get sucked in. Oh gosh, golly, you'll be glad to hear that. But of course, it's all hypothesis anyway, I suspect. So go figure. Moving on, or moving back in my case. Standalone, here we go again, versus PC virtuality. Power compared. How big is the difference? This is an upload VR again. It's actually just looking at the standalone headsets, of which you really only have Oculus Go. Oh, the HTC Vive Focus, Lenovo Mirage. Oh, some of these, of course, are the windowy thingy headsets, aren't they? Basically, the focus of this article, if it's not obvious, is they're actually making power comparisons. So, obviously, if you're in an Oculus Go or watching in a lightweight viewer, the processing power involved is not as much as on a tethered system that's using your regular CPU, and they're just basically looking at the power requirements of different things. So presumably everybody knows Mega Game number one is not going to run on a non-tethered set. On the other hand, a sort of trivial little game, like a Where to Find It or I don't know. We know those do work on mobiles or indeed headsets, and then if you look at the power comparisons here, you get a better idea of which things will be possible to be on both high end and low end, and which will fall to one or the other, sort of thing. Okay. I'm going to have a nap. I will be back in a few.
Oh my, okay.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm overtired today. Right, voicesofvr.com, our favourite podcast. Well, the biggest podcast, I should say. There's many, many in every week. 4 days ago, they had number 724. They had an interview with an Iranian chap called Ali Islami, and about his speculative design of a virtual city. Yep. That's quite a handful, isn't it? Go to voicesofvr.com if you want. You'll find yourself with a big selection of podcasts, and I really only include the main ones here that are centered on the VR side of things rather than the annexes to that. Okay, high fidelity VR chat and Altspace VR, all were, I add the were, hosting virtual New Year's Eve celebrations. No holiday for those platform operators. um, High fidelity was good. I'm not really prone to checking out VR chat or Rockspace. You can get to both of those in the Oculus Go headset, so I don't really have an excuse, except I don't find the experience remotely comfortable. So especially Rockspace VR, where I get very distressed and I seem to have been somebody's gone at my waist with a saw and there's nothing hanging out underneath. Right.
How was High
It,
Fidelity's celebration good?
Actually, they are. They're doing very. They're doing very well. It
Yeah.
wasn't nothing. It was nothing special. It was more or less a sort of let's everybody get together and have snow and stuff. And um, yeah, but it was okay. It
Okay.
was okay. I mean, it was it just wasn't as grand as the festival with Thomas Dolby and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whatever. But it was good. I mean, bearing in mind, they have a town hall meeting every week, and there's a guarantee that 50 avatars attend that every week,
Mm.
roughly. And even this week, a slow week, it was quite busy there.
Okay.
Um, so when they do hold events, I think one of the unique things for me about them, I don't go to VR chat and start old space VR, I've told you already. And even when I've tried, there don't seem to be many avatars around. But the one thing about high fidelity now is that any organized event you go to seems to have a considerable number of people at it. I mean, you're
Mm.
talking the quantities of people that would crash a sim in Second Life. So you're talking about a pretty good traction. And admittedly, some of their events they give away free money
Yeah.
to people
There you
or
go.
have bingo, and you can even win, Oculus Rifts and things. And so pretty, lavish prizes and stuff. So that can attract people in, I'm sure. But even there was, I don't think there was anything on offer for people at the New Year's thing other than to hang out and have fun and throw snowballs around and stuff like that. Of course, a lot of people in high fidelity are actually in headsets. And they have the capability of things like picking up snow in their hand and making a snowball and throwing it at somebody in a very, you can do that here or in Second Life or one of the earlier platforms. You can mimic it.
Right.
In fact, Linden Labs in Second Life have a Linden's versus the public snowball contest every year. But, it's not really, it's a laugh. And hey, we're with the Lindens thing.
Yep.
It's not compelling in an immersive way. You don't feel like you're picking up a snowball and throwing it. And the potential in high fidelity for all that stuff is absolutely great. I mean, they're way ahead of, the other two principal platforms I think of are Science Space and Sansar. And neither of those could actually cope with that kind of activity yet. They've got their own redeeming features, but this sort of um, picking up things and manipulating them is something I think Hi-Fi's a bit ahead with.
Hmm.
So yes,
Very
jolly
good.
good, and
Thanks.
yeah, and of course and their weekly they have on basically a Thursday at I guess it's 2 p.m. Pacific. They have a town hall meeting every week, which is open to anybody who wants to go to find out what's going on. And there's rarely a week passes when there's not more news, and it's also a great place to ask questions. You get a few people saying, sort of, "Oh, my mesh does this. Why does it do this?" And then somebody at the town hall says, "Well, that's because you didn't do that," or something like that. So a good chance for Q&A and things like that too. So
Yeah.
well worth attending, and you'll probably know if you're into all this, you'll probably know quite a few familiar faces there who um, turn up these days.
Yep.
No reason not to at the moment. Right. Okay. I posted at medium.com. Now, I don't have the exact link for this. All it tells me is it was at medium.com. So you probably have to go to Medium and check the headlines. Or indeed, if you're in the Malbone's Twitter feed, you can just click on the link. The title of it is Escaping into Virtuality. Is virtual escapism going to become a thing as our reality becomes increasingly hard to deal with? And well, this endeavors to answer the question. It's got a nice picture of some hands facing the screen and a blue pill and a red pill. And that iconography is slightly familiar. Um, is it not? um, but otherwise, it's just a pretty picture, as they all are, really. Right, moving to another page. Another pretty picture. Can gamers build a society? Well, these are yesterday's posts, actually. We will find out in Amazon's new world. Now, strictly speaking, it's supposed to digital trends or one word.com. And Amazon are apparently working on a massively multiplayer game, but it's not the World of Warcraft clone you'd expect. It's a different beast entirely. And it is a game. It mixes up lots of different eras from medieval to various other things, I gather. And you play it like a game But the whole game mechanics are very different from normal, and the emphasis is actually on building the world that you're actually in. I'm actually going to open this rather quickly, and I hope that the machine we're on over there doesn't take forever. It's a backup machine, so it's not the most reliable at loading things, although it's probably a Microsoft trait rather than the machine. Right, here we go. I don't know what James has got there. We got a nice little picture there.
Oh, not yet.
Um, not yes. Oh,
Not
not
yet.
yes. Oh, dear me. Dear me. My flipper board must be slow. Right.
Okay, now I'm seeing
Um,
something.
right. Anyway, Amazon is working on a massive multiplayer game called. It's actually called New World. How interesting. Right. The game's wholly original world meshes medieval, enlightenment, and early industrial themes with a wild frontier. Players set out to conquer this world alone or together, gathering resources and building small societies. They're using Amazon's cloud tech as a backbone on which to build the world, making it possible for hundreds or even thousands of players to coexist in the same place at once. And the interview here goes on to speak with some of the game's developers about why Amazon has backed it and stuff. And I'm just flipping down there. I think James can probably catch those four extra pictures that
Hmm.
were
Yep,
there at the
they're
bottom,
showing up well.
things that number different flavors. Yeah. I have not actually tried this, of course. I'm not very much of a game player, but it does seem to be one of those games that I suppose, like World of Warcraft itself, is just so huge. You can make it into a virtual world for yourself if you find a niche place to hide and want to develop. So, I imagine this might quite a little bit of the old attraction, as it were. Now, this is clever, isn't it? I can't see the button to get me out of here. There we are. Right, okay. Um, Back to my main screen. A cafe is opened in Tokyo, staffed by robots and controlled by powerless people. I think this is wonderful. You're going to find this news item at soranews24.com. That's SORANEWS, and then number two, and then number four.com. No spaces. Soranews24.com. And it has a nice little picture of a innocuous, sort of quite attractive robot, really, serving a cup of coffee and biscuits. Or is it just a cup of coffee and an empty coffee? I can't tell, but it's serving something. And it hasn't spilt it by the look of it, which is obviously a good thing. But I'm not going to open this article, but it's a great read because all these robots are controlled by a real person on staff. But the real persons on staff that they're employing are disabled people who are actually operating them from at home. They're in bed, they might be paralyzed, they've got various afflictions that mean they can't get a normal job. So they're being hired as waiters and waitresses, although in the case of a robot, it's probably well, was it a waitress or waiter? I don't know really. I can't tell. Oh, lousy robot there. Where's your telltale signs? Anyway, I won't go into that. Anyway, people are actually operating these things and serving people their meals and coffees in this cafe. And of course, the cafe is getting a lot of credit for employing, disabled people to do these jobs via controlling the robots. So that is rather nice. It's not kind of virtual reality, but it is a sort of virtual um, thing. Startup that specializes in robotics for disabled people. I think that is a very wonderful, great idea. To be
Yeah,
honest.
that's a nice
It's
realization.
almost like we already know from virtual worlds that disabled people, for want of a better expression, lesser enabled people, can make great use of avatars in virtual worlds to do things that they wouldn't possibly be able to do in real life. And this is another side to it, albeit robotics
Yeah,
instead of avatars.
that's great.
And maybe the robot is an avatar, sort of, really, isn't it, when
Hmm.
you think about it? Yeah, so nice one.
Everything
Maybe
overlaps, right?
everything overlaps. We'll be wandering around in virtual worlds in 20 years' time, and we won't have avatars that are avatars. They'll be robots. And they'll be strolling around it. Well, never mind. I don't know where they'll be strolling, to be honest. Maybe we'll have a mind connection to our robot avatars, and our avatars will
It'll
be
be in
colonizing
Westworld.
Mars. No, well, no, they'll be on Mars, and we'll be beaming our thoughts
Oh,
into our
right, right.
avatars. And our avatars on Mars, which don't need to breathe or drink water, etc., will be able to planet form Mars, and then we can do our bit, and then the children of that generation will to hop over to Mars and start living there because our robot avatars will have all done the work required for that next generation
Hmm.
to go there. And I don't like to say it, but I suspect that the planet Earth will be in a pretty disgusting state by then, and there'll be
Uh,
a bit of a rush to get to Mars. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to start opinionating if I'm not careful, and we don't do that kind of thing here, do we?
oh, sure we do. This is your show.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I claim that I do not, but of course one can't resist. Okay, moving on. 3 hours ago, this one. VU XIZ AR smart glasses arrive, and these are some new smart glasses, a bit like our yeah, all the other glasses opposed to headsets. And I'm going to open this because they do actually look like normal glasses. This is exactly what I want.
They look like Ray
Now
Bans.
they do actually cost £1,000. Yeah,
Uh,
$1,000, but and they're claiming this is probably a bit expensive yet, which maybe as mass market it probably is. But I mean, I think I might be tempted. I was reading the review, of course, and there are a few drawbacks to it. There's certainly more acceptable look. I mean, when the Magic Leap headset looks like a pair of steampunk goggles and well, whatever, whereas this actually looks like a pair of glasses. No real problem with that, as far as I can see. And I'm going to cheat here.
oh,
Let's have a look at their advert. I think we've got a couple of seconds to spare.
we'll push the tech here.
We'll push the tech, indeed we will.
Vuzix Blade smart glasses are a hands-free extension of your smartphone that displays your digital life right in front of your eyes. Never miss the action with a built-in high-definition camera for capturing videos and beautiful pictures. Simple swipe and tap interactions let you control your view. Powerful Cobra display engines. USB and Bluetooth audio with built-in microphones. Open platform for third-party app integration. Be connected, stay informed, and never miss a shot. Your digital life is important, but you find yourself staring at your smartphone all the time. With Vuzix Blade, being connected can be much more than that. It's about staying engaged with the conversation you're having and leaving your phone in your pocket. With Vuzix Blade smart glasses, you stay connected to your digital life while staying connected to your real life. Receive all the notifications you select, like messages, breaking news, and smart home alerts while your phone stays in your pocket. Vuzix Blade is instantly there to keep you informed.
Okay, well, I think that's enough of that because we don't actually run commercials on this channel. But it was a rather good show, wasn't it?
Mm.
I could live with that. In fact, my avatar's wearing almost the same model of glasses right
All
in here,
right.
right now. So yeah, I mean, the review there, I was a bit cautious. I mean, I probably would be willing. I mean, I don't know what that would be, about £700, £800 in the UK. Oh, actually, it'd probably be 1,000, and knowing the way they tax these things. Don't know. It's a lot of money. Okay, my screen share apparently is ending in 10 minutes, which is
Oh, okay.
our services way continue sharing have told me to get a bloody move on, mate. Right. Yeah, there is a lot to read there. There are some drawbacks to it, apparently. But I would say that the opportunities there are quite a lot, and I actually like the way it particularly works with your phone and iPads and things like that, so you can control a lot of what's going on either by touching the glasses or or with an iPod or something. And of course, that means your mobile is doing all the heavy lifting as well. So the oh yeah, apparently when you've got the interactive overlay active, there is a slight sort of glow to the lenses themselves, but apparently it's very subtle. I mean, for people in the know, they'd be able to tell you're wearing an augmented reality set, but for those not in the know, it's apparently barely noticeable. So there you go. Right, 5 big questions facing the VR industry in 2019. Yes, that's this year now. Yes, it is. This was 3 days ago, so it's probably the 1st of January they put this up. Um, Great. Of course, it doesn't tell me where it is. Let me do a quick thing. You can follow the link on the Malbones feed there anyway if you need to. But yeah. Come on, get a load on Windows. There you are. Um, okay. Oh, this is Upload VR again. Don't know why it didn't tell me that. Um, okay. Uh, what will Oculus Quest's mainstream moment be, etc., etc. Um, okay, well, they're looking ahead. Not much to look at. Not particularly much to read about look of it, but there you go. Right, and yeah, that looks to be the end of that feed.
Mm.
Now, I don't think we got much in the Metaworld news feed this week anyway. The only thing we have got here, I'll just run it quickly in the background. This is it's a couple of weeks old now, but Ryan Schultz has released the first of a number of interviews called the Metaverse Newscast. And this first one, I hope you can hear me over the background. It's sort of stereo
Hi,
mix.
Yep.
everybody.
Yep.
This is Ryan Schultz, and this is Metaverse Newscast, where we interview the personalities behind social VR, virtual worlds, and the metaverse. I'm very pleased to have as my guest today Cedar Librarian, who was the winner of the Best Avatar contest at the recent Futurelands Festival held in High Fidelity. And out of, what was it, 7, 8 contestants? Nine contestants. He was the winner, and I think you can see why. This is a marvelous parrot. And we are interviewing Cedar in his actual Cedar library. This is the library.
Okay, well that's enough for now. And to be honest,
Get the
okay,
sense of it. Yeah.
yeah, it's about 15 minutes or something, and there's going to be a whole series of Ryan interviewing various people in virtual worlds. It's all being filmed by a chap called Andrew, who's he's not actually an open sim. He refuses to come here, and I don't know how. If he doesn't like it here, I don't know how he's going to get on with Second Life, where Ryan does most of his stuff. But it's sort of filming in high fidelity in particular, and some in VR chat apparently. So it's a series of interviews with various prominent people or prominent avatars, I guess, in the new wave of virtual worlds. Yeah, so you can find that on YouTube, or you can find a link to. Right, I think the YouTube account is actually called Metaverse Newscast, and that is the only one that's there so far. Although apparently the footage for it's not live, so they record offline, then edit it, and apparently the footage for most of that is around. Okay, well, my time here is running out, so I'm going to broadcast a pretty picture. Um, which is actually my desktop. I rather like my desktop. It moves, and when I got Windows open, all that stuff moves behind it. Oh, and my calendar is incessantly popping out notices here. Oh, come on, dismiss, dismiss. Can you see this? Right. Anyway, that makes a nice, pretty picture for all of the 5 minutes I got left to broadcast it, I believe. Right. Now, I mentioned Lobo's tweet about virtual worlds, best practices in education, and their presenter proposal. You just need to go to vwbpe.org. slash conference, and well, basically follow the links to the proposals thing if you want to put a proposal in. Other than that, no doubt we'll have Kevin over on one of our shows here shortly to tell us a bit more about it. Whether like last year it's back to using Second Life only, or whether it will actually be moving on out into other platforms, which was always its intention. Two, I can't tell you at this point, but anyway, that's happening on the 4th to 6th of April. And I know there was something else here that I had in I had in, oh, Thunderbird, I think that was it. Yep, do a show all. Yeah, not there. Let's go and get it from somewhere else. No, then why was that's not right? Sorry, I'm showing you my email. Can't do that, can I? Right, it's actually something else I'm looking for in. Guess it was in another email. Oh, I know where it is. It's in Fleep. Yeah. Right. Okay. This is an email client I use that combines sort of text and stuff. And of course, I've put it away, haven't I? Right. So it tends to file things without my permission. Here we are. OpenSim users. Here we are. Right. This is something I received from VVox, quite literally on Friday. Service maintenance. Many of you use OpenSim and actually run your own desktop incarnations of OpenSim. You know, you have your private home on your own desktop and then hypergrid in and out. At Outworlds or Sim on the Stick or whatever. You probably know that if you're a small grid or just a private enterprise, you can get the free version of VVox, the voice client that allows you to speak in world. Much like the way I'm speaking to you at the moment, except we're using Skype, not VVox. No, we're not here. We're not even using now. We're using Discord.
Yeah, right.
There's so many options. But if you're in world wandering around and were talking to me, you'd probably see my radio waves and the fact I'll be talking to you in the land or using VVox. And you can the free version allows for about 50 people on your your home grid to talk in voice. After that, you have to pay for the commercial version. So this has arrived on Friday. It's no big change, but it just says that if you register to utilize a free virtual voice service, they're informing you that over the coming days they're migrating the service to ospvvox.com from one data center to another, basically. It will involve a DNS address change, and there should be no changes required on your part, but do expect VVox services to be sporadically unavailable during this transition. So, if your voice goes funny in the next coming days or two, don't scream at the OpenSim devs. Just nicely get in touch with VVox and say thank you for letting us know in advance. That was very nice of you. So, it won't be a shock if you can't talk tomorrow. Okay, I wanted to point that out. So.
Right, I have to think on that.
Yeah, get a little bit of email for now. Right, so that's it. That's it. I've covered both feeds. There wasn't much in the other feed, and that's about it. James, any thoughts on the magical all sorts that greeted us for the new year?
Well, that Vuzix blade looks very interesting. Do some more reading about that, but I just Googled the Microsoft HoloLens is still $3,000, and the Google Glass is about 1,500 was the best price I found for that. So it's definitely a competitive headset.
It is, and it it seems to have. Well, if you read the full article, you'll notice they point out a few flaws, but they didn't really sound out. They're not flaws; they're just things that aren't implemented. Some reviewers kind of miss, but if it's got 90% of what you want, I mean that sounds pretty good to me. And I rather like the idea that. I mean, I always had this idea of something that looked like that that might just plug into an iPhone. So the iPhone would be the processor that would do all the work, and the glasses would simply be a screen. This actually looks like glasses, but and it does plug into your iPhone or whatever. But it goes a lot further with controls actually built onto the glasses, and you can take videos and stuff on them too. which I presume gets sent to your phone to be stored. But yeah, I'm going to see whether that appears in the UK in the near future. I don't know, but I'm
Yeah.
certainly going to have a look around and seriously consider the possibility of something like that, because it's not limited to when you're out and about. It would presumably help in any occasion where the only thing I would really like is if it had a prescription lens in it too,
Mhm.
so that it could function as because I'm wearing glasses right now to read the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Um, so it's a bit of a blow if you have to take off your reading glasses to put on your fancy AR glasses.
Yeah. I just posted on.
Oh, look!
I was going to
Sorry.
say I just posted on Quora that one of the things I'm looking for with the headsets is to get corrective lenses inside those VR headsets.
Yeah, I,
Yeah.
I think on last week's news, I did read out a news item about one of the headsets is now coming with, prescription. Oh no, yeah, it's the
The
Magic Leap,
Magic
I
Leap.
think.
Right. Right.
Yeah, which is way expensive anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean, some people are taking corrective lenses seriously, and I imagine that's the sort of thing the Oculus Empire or the Fastbook
I'll
Empire
have
really
to. There's a good percentage of
would.
people that need corrective lenses, and then I can't wear
Yeah.
contacts. So.
Yeah, it seems to be increasing too. I mean, apart from the fact that I'm of an age now where I need them, when I'm walking around the street and stuff like that, it
Mhm.
feels like I'm seeing a lot of younger people and middle-aged people wearing glasses now, whereas it used to be a lot more of a rarity. I mean, obviously people have worn contact lenses for ages too, and so you don't realize that they're people who need glasses. But it just seems to me that they're more obvious. Oh, and also I don't know about current fashions, but it seems to me the frames on most glasses these days are bloody horrendous.
Mm.
Somebody needs to refresh the design of our little spectacles. Yeah, these big black clunky. Well, actually, rather like the ones we've just been talking about, but of
Yeah.
course they're special, so they need space for their buttons and stuff. But yeah, and I am taken by the fact that they're more or less the same as the ones my avatar's got on. So
Yeah. Yep.
I've got a nice bit of connect now. Yeah. If I get a pair, I can wear them when I get my doob done. Do you know what I'm
What?
talking about?
No. What?
When I get my doob done,
Madoob.
my doob done. There is a company that basically you go into them and they scan your body photographically and your physical body and everything, and it's called a doob. And they
Oh.
made this sort of like plaster Paris little model or something that you can put on your shelf, and it's a
Okay.
sort of it's like a plaster Paris model of your real self. But the great thing is that they will also make. You pay your money for your plaster of Paris job, I think. But they will also make for you a high fidelity avatar out of the same model. And it's a one piece. So, for example, if I had the avatar made when I was wearing a pair of glasses, and if I was wearing a top hat, that would all come complete with, that would be in the scan or that they took of me when they were scanning. And I was I quite like the idea. I got not only would I get myself as an avatar, but I get a little model I could put on a bookshelf or something.
Okay.
Does he really want? Anyway, that's what I mean when I said when I get my doob
When
done.
you get your doob done. All right.
Yeah, okay, this is my expression. We are now doobing out, or nah, I'll think of something when I get my doob done. Once I've got my doob done, I'll think of something. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh dear,
Oh, you kids. You
isn't
kids and your new words.
isn't he just tedious?
Yeah.
Me, I mean, yeah. Okay, folks. Well, I think we've got to the end of whatever this was. It is the new year, so you can forgive our sort of casual, whatever. I don't even know the word for that now. Anyway. Right. Okay. We'll be back next week. It will be after CES, I think, so we might have a handful of news. And of course, the more news there is, the less chance there is of me wandering off subject and getting silly. Anyway, since we have not seen you since last year, I will use this opportunity to wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year. And James, would you care to join me in that?
I certainly do. In fact, we had a chat comment on the YouTube stream wishing a happy new year.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Happy New Year to you, chat comment too, in the absence of a name. Have we got a name?
Wild Heart with wild with an E.
Oh, okay. Well, Merry New Year to you too, Wild Heart, and everybody else watching, and everybody else watching in replay, and all the folks not even watching. I send it across the ether in the hope you may just pick up the tiniest of vibrations of a Happy New Year from me and from James. Okay, so we will be back same time, same place next week. And for now, it's simply a goodbye from him.
And a goodbye from him.
And that means us. We two is one, as the album title used to say. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.